Now, I've just been in a ClickUp workspace and noticed out of about 15 people in that workspace, 8 of them have 100 plus notifications sitting in their inbox. If they've got that many notifications, that means ClickUp is not going to work as a project management tool. If you tag someone or ask them a question, they're not going to see it. And that's why people use Slack and Teams, and everything ends up in there instead of being inside ClickUp where it's meant to be. So I wanted to show you super quick how to customize your notifications so that you're only getting stuff that you need, because with the defaults, you can be overwhelmed by lots of them. Let's have a look. So we're going to go up to your profile in the top right, and we go to notification settings in there. So the way I've got it set up is I've got email notifications off completely and browser notifications off completely as well. I don't need things popping up and emailing me when stuff is due or any of that. Inbox. This is your inbox inside ClickUp. This is where all your notifications are going to live. And you've got a few choices. You've got default, focused, and custom. If you just don't want to set any of this up, just go straight to focused and you should be good to go. But I've got mine on custom there. So if you go into the settings, you can see what's turned on. In task comments, you've got a few things on there. I don't care about reactions, so I've turned that off. Task activity, you've got a few things in there. When things are merged, I want to know about that. And when there's a dependency waiting on or blocking, I want to know about these kind of things. So there's a few things on there. And then doc and chat, again, I don't want to know about reactions. I've turned that off. Start and due dates, I want to know if the due date changes or if the due date is overdue. And then I want to know if the start date changes. These ones I've got turned off as well. Click apps, I've got all of that turned off. Integrations, again, all of that turned off. Even though we do use GitHub and GitLab in the workspace, I don't need to be told when someone's added something to GitHub or GitLab and it's attached to the task. So then we've got list info. I want to know comments I'm mentioned in, descriptions I'm mentioned in, if there's new comments on a list that I'm part of or watching. Reactions, again, let's turn that one off. And if the list is assigned to me. So lists, generally, people don't really comment much in the list, so it's not too important. You could turn most of these off. Then sharing. I've got all of these on. If a task is shared with me or if anything shared with me, I kind of want to know about it. So that's the main bulk of it. It is going to be your inbox, just customizing that, what notifications you're actually going to get. So then we want to go from there. If I go back to my workspace, you want to go to your inbox on the left-hand side. And then inside here is where you want to customize your inbox. It's broken down into important, other, and then you've got snoozed and cleared. Cleared is everything. Snoozed are notifications that you've said, well, I'll deal with that later. Other are notifications that you don't really find very important. It's nice to be notified about them, but you don't need them popping up and telling you. And then important are important notifications. So what you can do in here is go to customize at the top, and this is where you sort out your notifications. Important notifications, customize importance. There's 39 different notifications, and if all of these are on, you're going to get bombarded by notifications everywhere. I've got 13 of these turned on. Reactions, again, let's turn that one off. We don't care about that. That's not an important one. Shared with me, important. Access requests, important. Assigned comments, assignee change, again, that one's not important. Dependencies, tag change, I don't use tags, so I don't care about that too much, but these are things you might find important. So it depends how you're working in your workspace. You might find tags important, but we don't use them at all in ours. Dependencies on, due date overdue, yeah, that's important for me. And before/after due date reminder, I want to be reminded about stuff. We've got all of these that are deemed non-important. So if any of these are turned on in the settings we just went through, then they'll still show up in your inbox, but all of these will show up in the other list over there. And then group by date, I find that super useful. So all of my today stuff will appear here, and then the others will appear further down. Sort by the newest first. And there we go. Inline, I like that for the display mode. And that is everything. So that should keep your inbox nice and clear. We can set up your notifications and you're not going to be bombarded with everything. And then ClickUp becomes much easier to use. If you tag someone, you're kind of confident they're going to reply back to you. So hope that was useful, and let me know what you think in the comments.